Cult stocks sounds a bit sinister and scary, and it can be both good and bad for investors and traders. Now in this video I find out what they are, how you trade these, and I give you 10 of the current cult stocks that are very popular at the moment. Hello, I'm Stephen Ho, trader and founder of TheStopHunter. So before we can carry on, a risk warning for you to pay close attention to. The content in this video is not investment advice, so please seek the advice, help of financial professionals or financial advisors before investing and trading. And trading and investing involves a high degree of risk and your money is at risk, so be very careful. So with that out the way, let's get on with the analysis. Now, there's no great science to understanding what is a cult stock. It's simply a company, a stock that has a huge investor following despite quite often poor underlying company fundamentals. And these companies are often very disruptive, offer revolutionary products, are new in this space, and because of that they build up a huge fan base, very excited about what they are going to offer. Now, just because a stock is popular doesn't make it a cult stock. The difference here is the fundamentals. Now, when stocks are valued, they use fundamental tools like earnings, revenue, cash flow, debtors, etc., to come up with a fair value of what the price of that stock should be. And normally, especially in the States, you report these numbers quarterly. The difference to the cult stock is that actually all that goes out the window and their value does not reflect their current stock price. Often there can be huge differences between the two. Now, in the past, there's been examples of cult stocks that have gone wrong, like Enron, for example, and some that have been hugely successful. You could call the FANG stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, those type of stocks when they first started. Now they're not because, of the fundamentals. So it's really important to understand the difference of what a cult stock is and what a popular stock is. The cult stock, to summarise, is one that fundamentals and current stock price are so out of kilter, and because of this, they have this crazy following that investors and traders jump on the bandwagon in the hope of massive upside potential. So how do you trade these stocks if the fundamentals have gone out the window? Well, you could turn to technical analysis and use that, for example, but even that can be tricky because often when these cult stocks emerge from their acorn, their shoots of newness, then the liquidity in the stock is often very poor, and I found that technical analysis doesn't work quite as well with more illiquid stocks. So these stocks will be prone to big movements in price volatility, and that can be very dangerous for the trader and investor. So really, these type of stocks are quite risky. So how do you find good cult stocks to trade? Well, the answer is it's very difficult and, like I said, very risky. Now, a lot of these type of cult stocks can be found on short interest lists. Now, I did a video on that and I'll link that into the end of this so you can see how you can find them. But often they're on this list because the hedge funds, the big banks of the world don't believe in these stocks and short them heavily, whereas maybe retail investors, like we've seen on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, believe in them. The GameStops, the AMCs, and this is what creates that cult following. So if you're going to find good stocks and we're looking for momentum in the price, and we're going to get that momentum at the moment from social media. So you might check Google Trends, you might follow Reddit, Wall Street Bets. There's a lot of filters now scanning social media around Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole lot, to pull out results that narrow in these trending stocks. Now these stocks can trend for a brief moment of time or a longer period of time, and they can turn from cult stocks to mainstream stocks, like I mentioned with FANG. So you've got to expect volatility, a lot of price action, frustration and risk. So now, with that sort of warning of how to deal with these type of stocks, I'm going to point you in the direction of 10 currently that I look at and watch, and I only trade these around signals and strategies that I have, and I have to be confident that they are going to work. So it's not about punting, it's about considered risk, and that's how you should treat these stocks, and make them part of your portfolio if necessary, but don't go all in on them because it could be very painful. Now I classify the cult stocks into two groups. I call them borderline cult stocks, and they're the ones that are moving out from the mainstream cult stocks to let's call it the more mainstream trading stock environment, a bit like the FANGs which we talked about earlier. And the other group are the full-on cult stocks. Now my borderline stocks, there's three that I look at the moment. That's Tesla, AMD and Etsy, and these follow technical analysis a lot more, and probably more appropriate for trading in such a way. So now let's have a look at 10 that I think fall into that sort of full-on cult stock bracket. You can also have, I suppose, cult sectors, and one of those cult sectors I think is actually the cannabis group of companies, and that is my first stock in that group. Now there's many you could probably pick up from there, but one that I think stands out at the moment is the Kronos group, and that operates purely as a cannabinoid company. It makes, markets and distributes hemp derived products, cosmetic products, and is very popular. It has a good fan following. Then we have WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment Company. I think the clue's in the name, what they do. They're an integrated media and entertainment company specialising in wrestling, but again they have a big fan base following. Now third up is a company called Twilio, and that is a cloud communications platform, and it allows you to build and scale up operations in real-time communications within, so I suppose, software applications. It's a popular traded stock, but again the fundamentals there aren't great. Then our next two need no introduction. They're GameStop and AMC, and that's all I'm going to say about them because I think they're being done to death, but they still sit in that cult stock bracket. Now when I was a lot younger, this company was very popular, especially in the trading world. We all carried our Blackberries, and since then the company's gone downhill a bit, but it offers security software and still its mobile phones and communication type tools, cyber security. It's a very popular stock, but again the Canadian company, the fundamentals are still pretty poor. Now a new EV car stock from China, NIO, very popular in the day trading world. Doing okay in China, maybe not so globally. It's people jumping on, like I was saying earlier, like with the cannabis thing, the EV sector, looking for hot new stocks to take off, and people see NIO as one of them. Because of that, it has a huge cult following. Two fitness companies of sorts now, Peloton, we all know about the fitness company there, and Lululemon, the clothes retailer, apparel, fashion company. Both again big followings, fundamentals not that good. Now finally, the tech company called Square. Now I debated whether to put this one in or not, and you can let me know in the comments below whether you think it should be included there, because I like to trade this one quite a lot. It seems to have good liquidity, works well in the technical analysis world. So it was a 50-50 whether I should include it or not, but when you look at the fundamentals compared to, you know, the share price, bit of a difference. It does have a cult following. It's always talked about. You know, it follows around also the cryptocurrency sector. It's a commerce ecosystem all in itself. It helps people start and grow their businesses, software, hardware, computing stuff. It is a very good idea and very good company, and you can see why it does have a cult following, and that is why I included it here. So there you go, cult stocks. Hopefully you now know what they are, how you can find them, and some sort of ideas around how you can trade them. I've given you 10 that I think are worth looking at. Let me know in the comments below whether you agree with that 10. Do you think there's any other stocks? I focused there on US stocks, you know, in your countries that behave like that. Are there any I missed out from the US that you could include on there? Let me know your experiences of trading these type of stocks as well. So if you've liked today's video, please give us the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell buttons to receive future notifications of content such as this. And all that's left for me to say is thanks for watching, good luck with the trading, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.